Hi everyone, I'm Marie, back with you today from Crafty Landing. I originally was on day 4 of Out with a Bang, the last day of the summer collaboration, and as you can see we are now on day 25. I'm the sole participant for a video today, but you have all of these to catch up with if you are following along with us. So, day 25, my prompt is Nocturnal Adventures. Now, I have to say, that really threw me because neither of the two kits from Mandy, Faded Impressions and Shabby Things, or the kit from Julie, the floral kit, neither have, well, anything to do with nocturnal in them. I was like, oh, as soon as I heard nocturnal, I was thinking, you know, nighttime creatures, nighttime bugs, stars, the moon, all things like that. So I have to admit I was struggling with the prompt a little bit. However, on day 12, I was watching Nikki from WW Designs. Her prompt was wings, and she also admitted that she struggled a little bit with the wings and came up with a little story. Now, if you haven't checked out all the videos yet, I suggest you do because they are all fab. But particularly, Nikki inspired me with her one for wings because she used the Shabby Things kit from Mandy, and it was all about a young girl called Rose who had turned 18 and was allowed to go and visit her cousin in England. So my kind of thinking is going to be part 2 of that kind of story, because it made me start thinking that perhaps Rose, while over in England, being so beautiful, had lots of male attention, and maybe she had lots of calling cards given to her as a means to persuading her to perhaps go out with certain gentlemen. So my idea are sort of based along Victorian calling cards. So I began to think that maybe Rose in England was out of an evening, under the lamps, under the stars of the sky, getting to know, I don't know, gentlemen that wished to take her hand. So I have come up with my own idea of vintage calling cards, with kind of a bit, I suppose, fruity offerings. Be mine tonight. And this one I've put a cameo from my stash on there with some lace. And on this one, may I see you home tonight. So that's the kind of line I've gone down. This may have been slipped into her pocket from a young gentleman, and that caught, you know, that she caught his eye, and he wanted to get to know her a bit better. So it's like a Victorian calling card. And on here I've got a lace bow, one of my button snippets with lace again, and just some tiny flowers that I had in my stash that I've also stuck on there with a bit more lace and frill down here. Now, I thought we would do a couple of these today. The way I have done them is using the Shabby Things kit, actually mostly the Shabby Things kit. I shrunk 2 to a page. So instead of printing out a full page in A4, I actually printed out 2 to a page. So they're kind of roughly A5 size. And that meant that I had smaller images that I could cut out, so that I could make the small calling cards. Now, these are roughly about 6.5 centimeters by 9.5 centimeters. Don't know what that is in inches, sorry. Oh, I've got my ruler here. It is, they are about 2.5 by 4 inches. Let me just check this one. I think it's slightly longer. Still 2.5, but yes, it's slightly longer. This one's almost 4.5 inches. So that's roughly the size that I've done them. And the small elements, like I was saying, when you print them off 2 to a page, it was just ideal to make a card of this size. You can see that those are the roses here that I have cut out from Mandy's kit. Oh, keep dropping it. From Mandy's kit, the page with all of these on, like that one there. I think that was from one of the freebie pages actually, and I've just cut out these and I've stuck them on there and there, as you can see. And I've just literally used my tiny letter stamps to stamp on some tea stain paper the phrase that I wanted, or the saying that I wanted. So yeah, let's get cracking, and maybe we can make one or two, well, definitely one. Let's hope we can make two as we go along here. So I've already cut out some bits and pieces ready, so it'll be easier to show you some of the small elements that I cut out. Now, this was the flower that hasn't been cut out from Mandy's kits. This is actually from Julie's kit. So I had some small pages printed out from when I made the tabs for my day 4 project. So I cut this one out, ready for this calling card. Again, I stamped a little saying, "Take this rose, take my heart." So Rose, and the girl was called Rose, a little rose here. So maybe a young gentleman slipped this in her pocket one day, and maybe they had a little rendezvous late one evening, and that was where my idea was going for nocturnal adventures. Maybe Rose had some adventures of her own during the evenings. And here I've cut out, so a smaller image. That one's got the window on, so I'm going to use that as my base on some tea stain paper. So that is going to be stuck on there. This is my thinking. That is the saying that we're going to have this time. Take this rose, take my heart. And I thought that might go on there, and you can probably recognise this piece off of the Shabby Things kit. I did think I might put a bit of dictionary or book page underneath, just to separate the layers so that they become more clear and don't merge into one. So if I show you, sometimes when you're layering pages from the same kit or similar colours, they often will merge into one, and using book paper or plain paper or something of a block colour sometimes will help lift the layers, and you can see them much more clearly. So I've got a bit of book page under there. That's my saying that we're going to have, or my little, I don't know, what is it really? Request. Take this heart, take this rose, take my heart. And maybe this rose I can, okay, let's move that along there. Maybe this rose I can put there, like that. And then I have this tiny rose that I've cut out. So lots of fussy cutting for this, and maybe that can go up here. Is that upside down? Let me check which way. There. Maybe that can go up there somewhere. And then from my stash, you know me, I like to use bits of lace and bits of ribbon and things. I kind of thought I might be able to ruche that up there. Maybe put that down there with a button, very similar to when I made my tabs on day 4. That can go there, and then perhaps also a little flower from my stash. Let me show you these tiny, tiny flowers I've got in my stash. They're so sweet. Look at that, tiny, tiny. And I thought I might use that as well. So let's get sticking. I'm not going to ink anything on this one. I'm going to glue straight down without inking. However, if we've got time for another one, I might ink that one. So I've got my trusty glue. So yes, so we're on day 25 of the collaboration. It has been fab. I've watched quite a few videos. I'm trying to catch up with the thumbing, the like, and leaving a comment. I am really, really bad at that. I love watching, and then I'll go on to the next one and the next one, and then I forget what, oh God, and I have to go back. What's great though is that Mandy, underneath many of the videos from the collaborators, you should have a list of everybody that is doing something, a video, so you can just go down and click So that's fab. So I have been doing that, but what I need to do is go back and like the videos and make a comment, because I know it really helps with the sort of like the YouTube data and statistics and things, and it helps us with the smaller channels. It really does help us grow a bit and get out there, and that's what I'm trying to do with my channel at the moment. So let's put that one there. I know I have this lovely window, and you might be shouting at me going, but you're covering it up with book paper. I know I do, but I know it's there. I know it's there. And if I did that there, glue it down now. I'm going to glue it down and show you, actually. Let me just glue. You need to trick the brain. You need to trick the brain into saying, oh, what's that? When the eye spots something. So you've kind of got to leave clues so that the eye is drawn a little bit closer to it to have a look at what's there. So for instance, there we go. So that is peeking out, and it's going to make the brain sort of say, oh, what's there? What's in there? And it makes you look closer. Promise me. That is a little, I promise you, that's a little tip that somebody taught me. So now that's my, I've got, that's my little rose. So I'm going to put this on. So yeah, Nikki, thank you if you're watching this, because I was really struggling with my prompt for today. And when I watched your video, how fab it was, I was like, great, I'm going to follow on from Nikki's story about Rose. And it just made me, it evolved and turned into this. So there is my saying, and I'm going to glue that on. So yes, as I was saying, please, you know, if you've really enjoyed watching something, press the like, and if possible, leave a comment, because it really does help the YouTube channels grow and get out there. I have really loved joining in with this collaboration. So thank you, Mandy, for asking me. I'm just going, now if I cover that, that is really going to cover up the word heart, isn't it? So I might have to cut off a few leaves, because that's too much of the word. There's not even a letter there for the brain to sort of take, is there? So I'm just going to cut off the end leaf first. Is there any other way? I wonder if I can put it underneath. Okay, let's just peel some of this back before it really sticks. Maybe this one. Let's just peel. Oh, good. Let's just peel some of these layers back. Can I put it underneath? Not totally. Can I put it underneath that one? And this is just how I work, guys. This is how I roll. I just have a look to see. I'm going to have to cut that one off. I just play around until I figure out something I like. The only thing with that, though, is that being an overthinker, it can take you ages. And I watched Mandy's video today, where it's the Saturday, it's the 23rd today. I'm filming this ahead of time, and I've just watched Mandy's video of her file folder, and she says about overthinking in her video, and I'm exactly like that. Overthinker, think about it too much, and then you get yourself in a tizzy because it just takes so long to do anything. There we go. I think I'm going to have that one hanging over a little bit. I don't mind that. There we go. So I need to stick that down. I'm going to have the bud just hanging off the page. Oh, Marie, be careful. Hanging off the page just a little bit. So so don't put glue on the bud, Marie, because that's going to be hanging off the page. Need to remind myself. And as you can see, I'm just dabbing my glue on, which I also do. I'm not, I'm not a perfectionist. I don't really spend, once I've got the idea there and where I'm going to place everything, I don't like be a perfectionist in how I get it down. Oh, and the way I thought I would use these, I wish I had my journal here now, because these can be like stuck on pockets in your journal. If you've got a bit of a plain pocket, you can stick something like this on, or even, slide it into a small pocket. This one's quite weighty because I've put the cameo on it, but this one isn't. Yes, it's a little bit, you might like a little bit bulky because it's 3D, but this one's got no weight to it at all. So it can be stuck on something. That was my thinking. So there's the rose on there. So now let me put, I am gonna stick this little tinsy wincy rose down. I could, if I found my, you know, like we used to have those 3D like sticky things that you can like make it look stand out from the, I've got some of those somewhere because I used to be a scrapbooker. Well, I still am a scrapbooker, but I prefer junk journaling now, but I do some scrapbooking. And I have a group of ladies that often want to do that as well, or I've recently done some journal workshops which they have loved. So there's a couple of roses there now, and we've got this big rose here. So now it's a little bit of giving it a bit of va-va-voom, as I say. Zha-zha. Right, so we've got a little bit of pink. This is actually an old bedsheet that I dyed. I had a bedsheet which I tore into strips and I dyed them all different colours, then hung them on the line outside to dry. My neighbours must have thought I was going balmy. I had greens, I had pinks, I had blues, every kind of colour going. Anyway, I digress. That and a little tiny bit of lace. Can you see that? Okay, and I'm going to get, I need some needle and thread because I am going to sew my button through it. So let me get some cotton. Let's use white. Let me get a, oh look, that's got some in it already, but not enough. Oh, let me show you this. My mum gave me this. Look, how sweet is that? It's a vintage needle pin, like, how lovely is that? It's metal, it's a boot, it's a shoe, oh, it's so vintage. I love it. My mum gave that to me. So that just stays near me with some pins and needles in. Get rid of that bit. We need some thread. I'm going to double it up, I think. Oop, oop, oop. So you might want to fast forward me if you find this bit boring while I sew through. Well, how long will it take me to get this thread through the needle first without a needle threader? Let's try again. Let me just see if I need to. Oh, come on, Marie. I should have been much more prepared and did this before I started filming. Right, I'm going to pause you ladies and I'll be right back. I'm just going to pause. Right, I'm back ladies. I've threaded my needle and I've started sewing my button onto the lace and ribbon, sewing through it, yep, like that. I think I might just do one more. So I literally, this is all I do, is just sew it through. And if you hear any extra noises, I'm sorry, it's summer here in the UK and it's quite warm today, so I've got the window open. But that just means you might hear people walking past or cars driving by. So if you do hear some extra sounds, I apologise for that. I can't put my head out the window and shout, I am filming, please do not swear. So I do apologise if you hear anything untoward. There we go. So let's just take that off. I'm going to put that up there with my needle in it so I know where it is. They are a bit long. Let me just cut these bits off a little bit. There we go. So we have the button sewn through the lace and the ribbon, and then I'll just glue that down where I want it to be. And then I'll decide where I want to put my little flower there. So I'm going to glue that, I think, just down here like that. And I'll just put glue where I've sewn the button on. I'll just put a dab of glue. Oh no. And that should, let me just put that on there. Oop. A bit of the thread caught the glue. And that dab of glue should just hold it down. Should be enough to hold it down. There we go. So that is that. Let me just wipe off this little bit of glue on my board. Oop. There we go. Okay, so we've got that so far. That bud is looking a little bit fragile there, isn't it? I'll have to be careful about that. I might need to put something like this. This one's got a tab on it, like a little label. I might have to put something like that here just to help that bud be less fragile. So we've got that, and now I'm going to stick my little flower on. Get my tweezers. Okay, a dab of glue, and I think I might want it to be here, just here. There we go. I'm just going to hold that down a second just while that glue takes, like that. Okay, and there we go, ta-da! We have one calling card done. But really, we've got 3 done now because I did 2 off camera. I am going to put a tab. Let's do that because I will get cross if that breaks, because I really want that. I've got some here ready. These are just from my stamps, using my stamps. So I got some stamps out to, my letter stamps to stamp the little sayings, the phrases. And then I got my label stamps out at the same time. So that's quite nice. I could stick that on there and then stick, couldn't I, the bud to it that way, or do we just need a little bit? No, I'm going to have it long, so I'm going to stick that on first. Let's move that one out of the way. I'm going to stick that on first, so I think I want it about, oh no, I need glue on the bud. So I'm going to stick that about there, stick the bud to it as well, make sure it's a bit straight, and I'll just press down. Now this one probably will be stuck to something because of the backing on the other side. It was tea-stained paper but a printout, so I had a colour on the other side, or a pattern print on the other side, so that one will have to be glued, or I can just cover it up with something. There. There's that one. How sweet is that? Right, let's do another one. Yes, should we do another one? So I've got 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now this one I have here ready. Let me just put my lid on my glue. Okay, so we have got with this one, I'm going to move my little thing of glue out of the way, in the bin. There we go, and my little threads in the bin. Right, out the way, out the way, out of the way. Okay, so I have here these bits already cut out. Okay, so I thought what I would do, right, this time, so there's my backing. Okay, so you probably recognise that paper. It's just mini because I printed 2 to a page, so I cut that bit out. And then I also just cut out little bits again from one of the other printouts, and I have this bit here showing some of the ephemera, so I thought that we would pop that down. Then I have a strip of lace, so it's all about layers, thinking about your layers. So I thought we would have the lace going across there like that, and then this time I have cut out the window. Look how beautiful that is. Remember, I've printed 2 to a page, so it's smaller. And my saying is slip thy hand into mine. Oh, so she might have, young Rose might have a nice young gentleman who's caught her eye, or the other way round really, in Victorian times, wasn't it? What am I doing? That needs to go that way. So I thought that could go, we would slip thy hand and slip the bit of paper behind those roses in the window, and that would go down there like that. Then I have one of those cutouts again, the roses, so from this, okay, These appear in a few of the Shabby Things pages, and I thought that could go like that there, perhaps. Are you with me? Oops, maybe just slightly over the end of my stamping piece so that it all flows. And then we've got this one here. These are from my stash, just little fabric flowers from my stash. You could either draw some and cut them out, or if I know there are flower punches out there, so you could punch them as well from the papers and use those. And I thought that one could be stuck down there, and that one, I got a little one, that one perhaps maybe could go just there, or even there. But that is kind of what I'm thinking. I'm beginning to think of what I might need for the flower centres, and I have got teeny little brads somewhere. Let me just get them. I should have got them out ready. In here I've got teeny weeny little brads, so I just need to make sure I've got suitable colours. And I don't have any pink ones, I don't have any white ones, I don't have any cream ones. Oh, let me have a look in my other pot. What have we got going on in here? Ah, this one we might have more success with. There's a whitish one. Oh, no there isn't. Oh, there's a creamy one. Oh, haven't I got any? Ah, that one might be alright. We've got tweezers. They are so small I can't get them. Right, what about that one? We've got one with white dots on, that might be okay. White dots on, black dots on. Black spotted one. And let's go for... oh no. Oh, we haven't got any more. I kind of wanted two the same. Okay, let's go for... let's go for silver then. Ooh. I'll just try and get that one. Let's go for a silver one then. Do I want them both to be silver? Is it going to do my head in if they're not the same? Is anybody else like that? Do they have to be the same with you guys? There we go. I've got another silver. Let's go with two silvers. Otherwise, I think it might do my head in if they're a bit different. So let me put those away. Right. Because they are brads, I'm going to need my sponge and my pokey tool that I can poke into. So I've got that ready. So now it's just a matter of gluing them all on. So I know that I want my... Oh, I was going to ink these ones, wasn't I? No, I'm not going to ink. One, because it's going to be too tricky to try and ink those. Now, when I stamped this one and cut it out, I was mindful to leave a little bit of room to slide it in, because if I hadn't left enough room, it would probably, you know, to have the hidden effect behind the window, I may have lost some of those letters, so we may not have been able to read. So I was mindful to leave a little bit there on the end when I was cutting out. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue there for a minute, because I don't know how much. Right, so I'm going to put it just there. There we go. There we go. And I've managed to get some of it underneath this rose here. And then that bit I've put glue on has just stuck to that part of the window. Okay, so that can be drying a minute, because that's a little bit of a fiddly piece. But now we can quickly glue on these pieces here. So once you've cut out all the bits and pieces you want to use, it's just a matter of assembling them. And now, does anybody know which way that has to be? I think it has to be, yeah, no, that way. Sorry if you heard that car, see what I mean? Bit noisy because I've got the window open. So I'm sticking those down there like that. Now my lacy piece, I'm going to use a Fabri-Tac, I think, or Collal Fabri-Tac. Is that my, no, let me use
this fabric tack. I've got two fabric tacks, one that is a bit bunged up and this one. So I'm going to put my fabric tack down to help my lace stick. And I know that my lace goes end to end, so I can put the fabric tack all the way along. I'm sticking that roughly in the middle. Let's put my fabric tack away. Don't need that anymore really. Just going to hold that down for a bit. Okay, now there's my window. So I've got to be careful with the gluing now, because, let me move up a bit so you can see what I'm doing, although it is just gluing. Got to be very careful with the gluing because it's small, delicate. Okay, but I do need enough glue on there because I need it to stick to that lace. So it's not like I'm putting it straight onto paper. I'm actually putting it on, onto lace. So I need to have enough glue on there. Okay, so we're putting it about there. About there, and I know that I wanted that piece there. Okay, has that moved? I don't think that's moved. Oops. So I'm just holding that down a minute because it's on lace, but the fabric tack will help keep that down as well, because the fabric tack has gone. I've got something sticky on my board. The fabric tack obviously is coming through some of the holy bits in the lace. Right, so that is going on there next. So I know that I want that about there. Slip thy hand into mine. Ah, I wonder if Rose found love on her trip to England. She's got plenty of interest, hasn't she? Unless these are all from the same gentleman. Of course. She might get a bit of a name for herself if these are all from different gentlemen. Mightn't she? Right, I don't want that anymore at the moment, my glue. I'm going to get my sponge and my flowers. I think I want the big one here. And I think I'm going to have the smaller one here or here. Nope, here. I think, yes, I might get another one out because I tend to work in odd numbers. I think I might have mentioned that last time. I do like odd numbers. However, I think there is an odd number of total flowers that we might be able to see on here. So I've I've poked all the way through with my pokey tool, and that means my brad can go all the way through now. So I'm poking, oh, beep, beep, beep to you too. I'm poking all the way down there with the little flower, and I'm into my spongy backing, and I can't get my split pin in, my brad in, and that is going to go, no it's not, okay, let's make it a bit bigger, just move that round a bit, make that a bit bigger, and that can now go in. So now they're both in, I can take them out, the whole thing out, turn over and fold them down. Now, because I've done that, this will need a backing as well, if I'm not going to stick it onto anything, but it's feeling like it could do with a backing anyway, even if I do decide to stick it down onto something, because it is only that one piece of full back sheet on there, that one piece there. It's not onto anything else. Like this one was a double layer, wasn't it? Right, and ta-da! Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can ease. That's my odd numbers. However, I do feel like I could add another one just there. I could, in fact, I might do that. Not now. I might do that off camera. Just give you an idea of how my thinking is, how my brain works. I am going to put that on some backing though. Bear with me while I find something. Find something like something from my scrap box. Is that big enough? No, no, it's not. One more piece. Let me find. What have I got in here? I have got some book page. I feel it needs something plainish. And when you're looking for a bit of tea stained paper or something, you don't have anything, do you? Ooh, what's this? An old piano roll. Is this going to be big enough? Please be big enough. Just. Will it work this way? Do I mind that the corner might not be there? Do you know, I'm going to go for it. So I'm just going to mark with my pencil where I need to tear. There and there. And there. And about there. And it's quite fragile, so I'm going to have to be careful. There. And there. And now I can glue this. Oh, look, I think that would look really nice. Okay. I'm thinking I need to put in something there. But I'll do that off camera. Right, I'm going to just finish this one off. I hope I haven't been too long this time. I know my last video I was a little bit going on and on and on and on. I probably have still gone on and on and on and on, but maybe just less this time round. Oh dear me. Let's put that on there, and that on there. And I'm going to have to hold this one down a little bit this time because I think the piano roll or the organ roll wants to roll. Roll! It is a roll, and it's come from a roll, and therefore it wants to curl. Okay, I'm just going to hold this one down. Right, we have our little nocturnal adventures by Rose, or she'll be going on some nocturnal adventures. When she decides which young man she would like to walk home with one night, maybe slip her hand into theirs. So thank you for joining me again, and I hope you like my take on nocturnal adventures, a little bit different. Thanks to Nikki for giving me the inspiration. And yeah, I will link everyone's YouTube channels below and the links for the kits. Remember, there are 3 kits, lots of freebies as well if you're in the Junk Journal Fix Facebook group. If you are joining us, please, if you're brave enough to share with us your creations, use hashtag JJFOutWithABang25. I, for one, would love to see your creations if you are following along with some of my ideas. I really, really would love to see them. And just one more thing before you go, I am going to put another flower down there. I'm going to get one just to show you what I might do to finish it off. I've got my little tub here. I need to find another one of those flowers maybe. But for now, let's just pop something on there just to show you. Yeah, it needs something, doesn't it? In fact, that one doesn't look quite so bad. So out of the window goes my liking of odd numbers on this one, because now it's going to have 6 flowers. But I think it looks better. 1, 2, 3 print flowers, 1, 2, 3 fabric flowers. That's, phew, I can ease now. I'm calm. Thanks for joining me. I shall see you soon. I will have lots more makes on my channel, so if you'd like to subscribe, that would be fab. And please like and leave me just a quick comment, even if it's a smiley face below, to help my channel grow. Thank you ever so much, and I shall see you soon, and I'm looking forward to the last few days of the collaboration. Bye.